Good evening. Welcome to the Brevard Sports Network. That is Brevard. Coach Blue, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, man. How you doing?
We're on the campus of Eau Gallie High School here at Commodore Stadium, where the 7-2 Melbourne Bulldogs, district champions, take on the 7-2 Eau Gallie Commodores. Coach, this is going to be an old school slobber knocker tonight.
Yeah, crosstown rivals, old time tradition, lots of great alumni. Should be a great one.
A lot of athletes on both sides of the ball tonight. Obviously, Melbourne's led by senior Hunter Turner, Jalen Clark, and Wes Lambert on offense. Defensively, they're led by Logan Barnhill and Woody Sweet. But then you got the Eau Gallie Commodores on the other side, led by Alvarez Baker, the Miami commit Robert Stafford. Not sure who's going to get to start tonight at quarterback. Defensively led by Curly Spencer, Jude Tenor. Coach, there's just a star-studded lineup that's getting ready to play football tonight.
Yeah, we had a brief little rain there. I think it blew over. It was kind of strange.
It lasted about 15 seconds, and it poured down as hard as it could here. Coach, a little history. Melbourne won last season 33-12. The Bulldogs and Commodores will face off for the 58th time tonight. They are two of the four public schools located in the city of Melbourne. There is no name, as Alan said all week, as far as a rivalry name for this game. I've played in it 4 times, and it's just as much, if not more, than what Melbourne and Palm Bay when they play. Just a different meaning. I believe Melbourne leads the all-time series lead. They have quite a big lead on them. I believe it is 37-19-1. Eau Gallie has won 2 of the last 3, though.
Yeah, great. Last week of the season's always awesome because you get all the crosstown rivals. You got Heritage Bayside going on down south. You got this game here. You got Cocoa Rockledge. So it's an exciting week, but at the same time, it's also a little bit sad because it's the last week of the regular season. I can't believe how fast this season went by, and we're already here in the last week. It's like a blur.
Football season has flown by, as it seems to do every year. I know that you can contest to that from being on the sideline, myself as well. It seems like you put so much into it from January to August, and then come August to November, it's gone just like that.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Coach, what are your thoughts / predictions for tonight?
I think it's going to go down to the wire, and I think that special teams play and ball security is going to be the difference. I think they're evenly matched. What one team lacks or, struggles with on one side, the other team has its own, and I think it's a very evenly matched game. I think it's a game that's been anticipated all year. Eau Gallie at one point looked to be one of the best teams in the county, and then had a misstep against Merritt Island, if you will. And then Melbourne started off with a loss to Mineola, but we found out that Mineola is a real good team.
Yep.
So the whole season has kind of been building to this moment. Crosstown, these guys all know each other and played Little League against each other, with each other.
Both teams' losses have come to opponents that are – Melbourne's is Cocoa and Lake Mineola. Eau Gallie is Rockledge and Merritt Island. And those 4 losses combined are not shameful losses.
For sure.
I know if you ask the Eau Gallie Commodores, they feel like they should have beat Merritt Island. For me, Coach, is discipline. Me and you had a conversation about who's here. We're not going to go into that as far as officiating tonight. But the discipline, because 15-yard penalties are going to hurt tonight.
Yeah.
With the talent on this field, the coaching on this field, like you mentioned, kids that have been playing against each other. Some of them played with each other. Discipline and mental mistakes, penalties are what's going to hurt the losing team tonight.
Yeah, when you have an evenly matched game like that, that has a huge factor. Turnovers, special teams, penalties. It's a good point.
Coach Blue, we got some trivia tonight. Got some for both sides. We'll get to later. A little Melbourne note: Jalen Clark is 7 receptions away, a little over 94 yards away, and 3 touchdowns away from being Melbourne's all-time leading receiver.
That's impressive. That's a long history.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you in part by Nick Farinella of Caldwell Banker. Nick's market specialty is corporate relocation and a waterfront specialist. He works from North Merritt Island to the South Beaches. Call Nick today at 321-543-1685 or visit his listings online at caldwellbanker.com/Nick Farinella. Coach, I haven't seen who has won the coin toss yet. I missed it, so I guess we'll find out who's kicking here in just a minute. Eau Gallie will be kicking in Melbourne.
Billy, give us a rundown on the playoff situation with these two teams.
Eau Gallie is in at the moment. The FHSA had a amendment last night that if you're a district champion, you get to host. So that played in Melbourne's favor. I believe Melbourne, if it started tonight, would host the LAN. They need to win tonight to increase their seeding. If not, they're going to end up facing the best 3 and 6 team in the state of Florida in Treasure Coast. And Eau Gallie could, if they get a win tonight, they could be looking at a rematch with Merritt Island, or they could be looking at Mainland. So again, everything can change. Found out today that Flagler Palm Coast, who Eau Gallie played earlier, and beat. So it doesn't really affect Eau Gallie, but Flagler Palm Coast had to forfeit 4 games, which changed. Pretty much kind of kicked Heritage out of the playoffs because of New Smyrna and Spruce Creek getting wins now. So any outside chance that the Heritage still had is gone.
That's tough for Heritage because they improved dramatically as the season went on. But as it turns out now, it just took them a little bit too long.
Correct. Heritage has a chance, Coach. I believe they're 3-1 in their last 4 games. The only loss to Melbourne. They got a chance to go 500 down there at Bayside tonight. Again, that's you've been a part of that matchup. I have not been a part of that, but I hear that's every bit of what this matchup is and what that barbecue bowl is.
Absolutely. It's a huge rivalry, and it's a lot of fun. It feels different. Like when you're at Bayside and it's Heritage Week, you wake up Saturday morning and it's Heritage Week. If you're at Heritage and you're playing Bayside, same thing. It just feels different when you wake up. I
can imagine. Obviously, played and coached at Melbourne. I know what it's like to wake up to play Palm Bay. I know what it's like to wake up to play Eau Gallie, and those weeks hit a little different. So here we are. Eau Gallie is set to kick off to Melbourne. Deep is Jalen Clark for the Bulldogs. And it will be a pooch kick.
That's not good.
J.R. Samuels will recover it. That is not a smart decision made by Melbourne, but they will take over 1st and 10 on their own 24-yard line, Coach.
Yeah, you don't ever want to see that ball hit the ground on a kickoff if you can avoid it, because like we've said a million times on this broadcast, you never know what that thing's going to do, and it's live.
Coach, this Eau Gallie's defense is loaded. This is a big matchup for me. Eau Gallie has played well. Obviously, we know what happened last week when they went to Rockledge. They did struggle, 35-0 Rockledge. Turner's going to throw flea flicker. He's got Santiago wide open. First play of the game, Frankie Santiago down to the Commodore 34-yard line. Stephen Hughes drawing him up.
Yeah, they got that middle of the field wide open there on a post off the flea flicker. Coach, there's a couple things missing. I don't know. I'm looking down at the field. I don't see any numbers and I don't see any hashes.
Yeah, that's definitely missing.
That's going to be hard on us tonight. We apologize in advance at home if we don't tell you what yard line the ball's on. It's not going to be easy.
Lambert around the left side. He's going to run for about a 2-yard gain. That is Wesley Lambert, a senior. Let's see where they officially mark it. It's going to bring up 2nd down, and they're going to give him a yard. 2nd and 9. 1 carry, 1 yard for Wesley Lambert.
Eau Gallie's playing 2 safeties high, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see more posts and seam routes if they stay 2 safeties high.
Handoff up the gut. It looks like Hunter Turner actually kept that one, Coach. He's going to gain, we'll go 4 yards. 3rd and 5 for Melbourne. Third and 5 for the Bulldogs. Hunter Turner takes the snap. He's going to throw. He's got Jalen Clark. That's his first reception tonight. Coach, he's going to be just short. It's going to be 4th and 1 for Melbourne. 4th and 1. I would anticipate Melbourne's going to go for this one, Coach.
Yeah, that's a far kick.
Turner tries to draw him off sides. Coach Blue, I say this week in and week out, it's 4th and 1. This is where I like to get my butt under center and get me a yard, man. You know, Hunter's standing 6 yards back from the first down at this point. So we'll see what Melbourne does here. It's going to be a handoff. Wesley Lambert, left side. He's going to have enough for a first down. Call that a gain of 3 for Lambert. Turner's looking to throw. Turner's going to be sacked. Oh, he's going to try throwing out of it. It went past the line of scrimmage. He's the outside the tackle box, Blue.
Yeah, I think so.
They're incomplete.
He was close to be in the grass there. I'm surprised sometimes the referees are quick to do that. Sometimes they're not.
So 2nd and 10 for Melbourne. Handoff Leslie Lambert. Coach Blue right side. He's got a big hole. He's going to fall forward for about an 8-yard gain for Lambert. It's 3rd down and 2. Handoff Lambert again, left side. He's going to get held on to. He's going to have enough for another Melbourne first down, Coach. Melbourne methodically moving the ball down the field after the big play by Santiago. What was that, about a 3-yard gain, Coach?
Yeah, and Lambert's quick, and he's got great vision. He's making all the right cuts so far, and the offensive line's doing a good job of sealing their gaps and creating a lane for him.
Lambert again up the gut. Coach, that Eau Gallie defense is being stingy there. Nowhere to go. Maybe a yard.
Always tougher in the red zone.
Second and 9 for Melbourne. Looks like they gave him credit for a yard. Turner takes the snap, hands off right side. Lambert's got nowhere to go. He's going to be brought down for a loss of 1.
It's tough to get outside on that Eau Gallie defense. They've got a lot of speed. They've been hitting them up inside the tackles to this point. he didn't see anything inside there and tried to get outside.
3rd down and 10 for Melbourne. Coach Lambert has had 6 carries on this drive already. 6:53 left in the first quarter. Melbourne is 3rd and 10 from the 11-yard line. Turner takes a snap, rolls out right. He's got Santiago pushed out of bounds at the coach. They're going to push him out at the 8. So that's a gain of 3. So 4th and 7 for Melbourne. Here comes the field goal unit. Number 4 set to do the kicking for Melbourne. That is Trevor Causey Jr. Turner set to hold. Kick is up. Kick looks good. No good. Wide right.
Yeah. Big standby there, Eau Gallie. Melbourne comes out with a flea flicker to go down the field on the first play. Big plays. Big games like this, big plays are everything. But Eau Gallie stands on defense.
That they do, Coach. Officials timeout, water break. Coach Blue, what do you think of that drive from the Eau Gallie Commodores defense?
Well, they tightened up in the red zone, which, you know, the red zone is more friendly to the defense because there's less ground to cover. When you have a quarterback like Hunter Turner, when he has the field, he can beat you deep, he can beat you intermediate. But when you get down in the red zone, there's a lot less room, there's a lot less space, a lot less holes, and it gets more clogged up. So great job by Eau Gallie tightening up when they got down on their own end of the field.
Eau Gallie got a plethora of receivers on the field right now. Handoff is going to go to number 7, Williams. Brought down by Woody Sweet. They're going to mark him at the line of scrimmage. Great job by Woody Sweet. Coach, this Eau Gallie receiving core, you got Robert Stafford, a Miami commit, Alvarez Baker, who has had a sensational year, and number 2, D.L. Hardison, the youngster that's committed to Florida State.
A lot of talent.
Satellite 14, Space Coast 0.
But I will say this, the Melbourne secondary, under the supervision of Coach Scott Grish, is one of the toughest high school secondaries to throw the ball against.
And that will be Williams for a carry of, I'm sorry, that's Alvarez Baker around the right side. We got a flag on the far side of the field.
That was a little slow developing there. He went a little bit deep and gave Melbourne too much time to pursue.
Looks like we're going to have a sideline warning on Melbourne, I would have to assume.
You know, he's turning up at 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage, where if you just run a jet, he's turning up from, 3-4 yards.
Coach, I hate to see those penalties so early in the game because the referees need to watch the football game, not the sidelines. If there's nothing coming from the coaches, which there may have been, those coaches might have been running their mouths.
Or the referee bumped into him when they were
one of those two things.
Backpedaling.
But from a coaching side perspective, you got to control your sidelines. You can't have that type of penalty this early.
Yeah, you typically have a get back coach, somebody designated down there on the staff to keep everybody back. And I think the get back coach fell asleep.
That ain't a fun job, Coach.
No, especially when them coaches get heated.
I haven't done it, but I've seen it, and it ain't fun. 3rd and 9 for the Commodores on their own 21-yard line. Coach, how about we got the freshman J.R. Samuel matched up against the Florida State commit D.L. Hardison, and we got the senior Damian Ivankovic matched up against Stafford. Stafford goes in motion. The ball's on the ground. See who recovers it. Eau Gallie Latson will recover it. That'll be a loss of 3.
Fumbled mesh.
Coach, that's something that you've been practicing for 4 months, right?
Yep.
So 4th and 13 for the Commodores. Coco 7, Rockledge 0 at the Barbecue Bowl. Nice punt. It's going to be fielded by Jalen Clark. Coach, you can't go north. You can't go east and west on this. Eau Gallie Commodores have more speed than the Melbourne Bulldogs. If you're Melbourne, everything you do must be north and south.
Right.
Everything you do.
And even if the returner has speed, there's 4 or 5 Commodores coming down who are just as fast as you. So, yeah, you're absolutely right, north-south.
And I say that with all the respect in the world, Blue. I've been around this Melbourne program for years. The MO of Melbourne football is one cut, get north and south. We are not going to outrun people side to side. 1st and 10, Melbourne on the Commodore 40-yard line. And, Blue, boy, is it tough looking for the numbers. Handoff. Lambert, coach, nowhere to go. That's big number 50 for the Commodores. That is Devin Greisofi. I apologize for the pronunciation. He makes the tackle after a 1-yard gain by Lambert.
Yeah, there's a lot of pinching going on up inside there. Eau Gallie defense collapsing. Interior.
Turner takes the snap. He's looking. Turner's got a roll. He's going to be sacked by Tyler Sheehan. Coach, this Commodore defense with a 10-yard sack.
Yep. They got to go on 2 or they got to screen. But the problem is now that it's 3rd and long, everybody knows there's going to be a screen. So
the matchup last week, the Rockledge Raiders were able to run the ball at will against the Eau Gallie Commodores. And you know, this secondary for Eau Gallie is talented, but those Rockledge receivers were just as talented. I believe Eau Gallie does have the edge over the Melbourne receivers at this point. There's Clark with the tries to get a screen. That's incomplete. So 4th and 20 for the Bulldogs here late in the first quarter. 2:49 left in the first quarter.
And that's probably why Melbourne came out on their first possession and ran the ball heavy, as they saw on film that, you know, it looked like Eau Gallie was vulnerable. But, you know, you're talking about Rockledge. So Rockledge can exploit weaknesses in teams that other teams can't.
Yeah, Melbourne does not have Jalen Stevens or AP in the backfield.
Right. Now, I will say this on that sack, Billy. If they run a screen, a tailback screen up the middle on the early down
Nice
on the next
punt
possession
by Hunter Turner.
It'll be there.
Blackman's going to be tackled after about a 4-yard gain.
The Eau Gallie front is coming right now.
Woody Sweet on the tackle. Coach, I had a chance to watch Eau Gallie against Bishop Moore, and I've tried to tell people the Eau Gallie Commodores have a very stingy, fly-to-the-football defense. I coached a couple of these kids, Rayshawn Berry, playing linebacker for him. Rayshawn is all over the field. He's always been all over the field. You saw Tyler Sheehan make a play at the end from back, behind the quarterback. This Eau Gallie, Jude Tenor, I know you're familiar with him when he
was at Heritage.
His time at Heritage when you were there. He's
great kid.
Great kid, great athlete.
Big athlete.
So 1st and 10 Eau Gallie on their own 35-yard line.
Melbourne showing single high, which is not typical, and now they're back to their 2 high.
Handoff goes to Welch around the right side. He's going to get to the edge. Gain of, we'll call it 2. Tay Welch able to get around the right side.
Melbourne does a great job in their secondary of disguising. They'll show you 1 high, and then right before the snap or right after the snap, they'll roll to 2 high, or vice versa. And it's hard as a quarterback. You have pre-snap reads with your combinations, and you see 2 high, and you're thinking, all right, they're in cover 2, they're in cover 4, and then they rotate on you post-snap, and it changes the coverage. That's tough.
The gain of 3 is the official ruling for Welch. 2nd and 7 for the Commodores. Whole lot of yelling going on around here, Coach Blue. I don't know what's going on.
I think we got some coaches up there.
And it's going to be a pitch. Looks like that's Blackman. I'm sorry, that is D.L. Hardison. Ball came out. They're going to mark him down after a five-yard gain. Looks like they're going to call him down. D.L. Hardison on the run.
That's speed right there, man.
Gain of 5, Coach. That's why he is a Florida State commit, class of 2025. 3rd and 2 for the Commodores. Foundation Academy 7, Holy Trinity 0. There goes Alvarez Baker in motion. Great call by Coach Panucci. He sends the house. Loss of 2.
Man, I tell you what, that Eau Gallie offensive line was a yard or 2 upfield, and there were 5 Melbourne Bulldogs in the backfield. It looked like it was a screen.
Coach, I felt that last week. My youth team, my O-line had 150 yards rushing, but my backfield had probably about negative 15 because they just weren't touching a soul. That's exactly what that looked like right there with that Melbourne defense sending the house. 4th and 4. Commodores set the punt. And, woo, Melbourne gets away with a little bit of a running into the kicker. Waivatava was able to contain himself and barely touch him. Melbourne takes over 1st and 10 on their own 30. Coach, great defensive battle we've had here. Melbourne has missed a field goal. We have 9 seconds left here in the first quarter. This should be the last play of the first quarter.
There hasn't been a play over, 5 yards on either side except for the flea flicker.
Melbourne had a 41-yard pass.
The flea flicker.
Other than that, there's been one play for 8 yards from a Lambert run, and that's it.
That's good defense. I'd love to see a tailback screen in the middle of the field for Melbourne here early, 1st or 2nd down.
Yep. Eau Gallie's biggest play of the night has been a 5-yard run. Turner takes a snap. Turner's looking. Turner's going to roll left. Turner better get rid of it. He's got nowhere to go. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Look at the middle of the field, Billy.
Coach, I've said this for weeks, and I will continue to say it. Melbourne, if they're going to make a playoff run, their offense better start getting an intermediate passing game.
Yeah, some kind of mesh, shallow cross.
They've got to develop something. We know what they can do with Jalen Clark over the top. We know what they did with Devin Alves last year over the top. Devin's gone. Jalen's here. You're not going to be able to go deep in the Florida high school playoffs just throwing deep balls. Melbourne has got to get a mid-level, like you said, a mesh throwing game. Yep. They do not have one. They have not had one all year, and that's going to hurt them if they don't develop it. And I feel confident in that statement, Caleb. I tell them every day, buddy. We're going to head to a quick commercial break. All right, that was the quickest quarter break ever. Coach Blue got me ranting over here. 2nd and 10 for Melbourne. Turner in the gun. Turner takes a snap, throws it quick. That's going to be intercepted. Number 13, that is Damian Miller. First turnover on the night. Turner's pass intended for number 2, Frankie Santiago. I think he put a little too much on it. Ball's tipped up in the air and intercepted by the Commodores. 1st and 10 on the Melbourne 30-yard line.
Never too much on it. I don't believe in that.
Can't be too much on it, Coach. Ball touches your hand. Ball touches your hand. You got to catch it.
You got to catch it. Take any off of it, and the defense closes. The recover speed is ridiculous on that field tonight. So
this is big for the Commodores, Coach. The first turnover of the night. 1st and 10 on the Melbourne 30-yard line.
Especially when Eau Gallie's offense is struggling to move the ball. You don't want to help them out and give them great field position like this. We'll see how the Melbourne defense responds.
Coach, for me, Eau Gallie Commodores got to develop a throwing game. They've had inconsistency at quarterback all year long. They keep switching. Eau Gallie's got to develop a throwing game. Stafford in motion. Baker goes in motion. Handoff Stafford. We're going to have 2 flags for 2 men in motion at the same time. Baker was not set on the far sideline. That'll be a loss of 2 for Stafford on the carry.
See what the flag is.
Should have illegal motion. Oh, Jim Wright will just ask anybody what they want to do with the flag.
Illegal shift.
Yep. So Melbourne will take a 5-yard penalty. It should be 1st and 15. That will negate the run from Stafford.
You see the Melbourne safeties on that?
I did not.
They're at linebacker level. Yeah,
Coach,
9 human beings in the box.
Melbourne's going to dare them to throw the ball because Eau Gallie hasn't shown consistency.
I mean, we saw that last week.
Just like Melbourne can't consistently throw the ball underneath.
Yeah, we saw that last week with Coco Palm Bay. Coco had their safeties walked up to linebacker depth and just basically dared Palm Bay to throw the ball.
Melbourne actually declines the penalty, so it'll be a 2-yard loss for the Commodores, 2nd and 12. Latson rolls out right. He's looking. Got a man, incomplete. J.R. Samuels on the coverage, intended for D.L. Hardison, 3rd and 12 for the Commodores.
And that's typically what you see from teams that struggle to throw the ball, that have an athletic quarterback. They'll roll them out and give them that flood where you have a real easy, deep, middle, short, vertical route, 10-yard out, 2-yard flat.
Not sure what was going on over here with Coach Sands and Jim Wright discussing something. So the first pass of the night for the Commodores goes incomplete, 3rd and 12 for Eau Gallie.
And the best part about that is the quarterback always has the run option. If he doesn't like what he sees in the pass game and you can get him outside of that end, you can reach that end.
Coach, I thought Latson was going to take it, but Wyatt Vatawa did a great job closing the gap and forcing him to throw the football. Stafford in motion. Latson's rolling out left. He gets it to him early. Makes a man miss. Stafford's going to be brought down after we'll call it about a 10-yard gain. So 4th and short, brought down by Woody Sweet. That's going to be a gain of 10 for the Commodores.
Well, Gallie wants to try to get the ball into their guys' hands in space and give them some room to do just what they did right there. Make a move, run through a guy.
Now, Gallie did a great job of sealing the edge on Melbourne, Coach. If I'm Latson, I want to get that out of my hands a little quicker, get Stafford some time to get to the sideline and make a play. Hawthorne 20, Astronaut 0. This time he's going to roll out right. Coach, that's a keep all the way. Gets down the sideline. He's going to go out of bounds. Forced out of bounds by number 3, Kendrick Wright, all the way down to the 9-yard line. Should be 1st and goal, Eau Gallie.
Yep, and the adjustment you might see is that they might take one of those 2 high safeties and bring them down into the alley to try to cover this. What Eau Gallie's doing now is trying to get outside.
Coach, that's a 13-yard run by Latson, the biggest play for the Commodores offense thus far. First and goal from the 9-yard line. Latson getting the call from Coach Chris Sands. Throws it outside, intended for Alvarez Baker, incomplete. 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. Coach Eau Gallie's got a big back here. Melbourne switches it up. Going to hand off right side. He's trying to make a man miss. Down to the 2-yard line.
Eau Gallie offensive line got some good push there and opened up a nice big gap.
Third and goal from the 3-yard line. That was a gain of 6 for Williams. Williams comes out. Welch checks in. Quarterback read all the way. He gets in the end zone. Touchdown, Eau Gallie. That is Jay Latson on a 3-yard run.
Even though it was a short drive, Billy, that was a really good drive by Eau Gallie's offense there. They made an adjustment, decided to get the quarterback out of the pocket and attack Melbourne in the alleys.
Coach, you got to capitalize over turnovers. That's a great job by Eau Gallie on a 3-yard touchdown run by Jay Latson.
It was a good mix, too. Good run-pass mix. See.
Kick is up. Kick is good. 7-0 Eau Gallie. 9:43 here left in the second quarter. Cool.
Hello, Space Coast. Alan Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your support of BSN and allowing us to cover your student athletes and come into your home each and every night. Give us a follow on Facebook at Brevard Sports Network, and here's to many more years of top-notch sports coverage right here in Brevard County. Thanks again.
So we had a 15-yard penalty on Eau Gallie. That's our first personal foul of the night. So Eau Gallie's kicking off on the 25-yard line.
On the extra point.
Coach, Melbourne should have a good field position to start this drive. And he will kick this one deep. Coach, that is, if you're Melbourne, that's exactly what you can't have.
That was the only way.
Ball came out. Recovered by the Bulldogs.
They missed a great chance for great field position right there. It looked like he misjudged that, and when the ball hit his hands, it was over his head. I think that ball drifted on him a little bit and got away from him.
1st and 10, Melbourne on their own 20-yard line. So no harm, no foul for Eau Gallie.
Yeah.
Turner takes the snap. He's going to hand up to Wes Lambert up the middle. Strong run by Lambert. Gain of 5. Coach, Melbourne certainly has to get something going on this drive.
Good old power to the left.
Coach, the only success Melbourne has had, I mean, yes, they drove the ball down the field after the flea flicker with a 41-yard game, but other than that, Melbourne really hasn't had much going.
Yeah, they're running in between the tackles for probably 3 yards a pop.
Turner throws it in the air again, almost intercepted. Brandon Brown on the deflection, number 20 from the Commodores. 3rd and 5 for Melbourne.
Melbourne's got guys open. The intended receivers are there, but you have a deflected pass, and then you had the non-catch that got tipped up in the air for the pick.
Satellite 27, Space Coast 0. Merritt Island 14, Vieira 0. Timeout, Melbourne. Coach Blue, tonight's broadcast brought to you by Nick Farinella of Caldwell Banker. Nick's market specialty is corporate relocation and waterfront specialist and a waterfront specialist. He works from North Merritt Island to the South Beaches. Call Nick today at 321-543-1685. Coach, if you're Melbourne, it's 3rd and 5. You're struggling offensively. What are you looking here for here? Obviously, I know you want a first down, but
I like something RPO, although Eau Gallie's probably sitting pass. I don't think they're going to get 5 on the run, the way that Eau Gallie's front has been playing.
Turner takes a snap. Turner's dropping. Turner's going to try throwing. Jalen Clark. Oh, outside. He had him.
Just barely missed it.
Coach, again, we've said it. So 4th and 5 for Melbourne. Turner is 3 for 7 right now, Coach, with 48 yards passing on the Commodores defense. Melbourne. Lambert has rushed the ball 8 times. Low snap. Turner. Ball's going to roll backwards.
Same thing happened on the kick return for Melbourne.
Yep,
that ball just drifted a little bit on the receiver, tried to catch it up over his head, and it went through his hands.
Rajon Blackman. That's a great kick by senior Hunter Turner. Coco 7, Rockledge 6. Second quarter, Rockledge misses the extra point. Coach, me and you have been doing this for 2 years, and we've said, bar none, Brevard County special teams cost a lot of these great teams football games.
Yeah.
So, Coach, Melbourne's defense has been pretty stingy themselves. I mean, Eau Gallie did take the ball 30 yards after the turnover, but they have not allowed a long drive so far.
Yeah, they've got to contain the edge. That was the thing that on the last drive, Eau Gallie went outside on them. They've got to be able to contain the edge and not get reached.
And get off the field on 3rd down. Number 12, Latson's looking to throw. He's going to throw a deep ball. D.L. Harson's run right by him. Incomplete.
Got behind the secondary, but wasn't able to bring it in. That was a good throw.
Kendrick Wright able to get his hand on the ball. D.L. ran right by the Melbourne defenders. That is a young freshman, J.R. Samuel, playing corner for the Bulldogs. Heritage 14, Bayside 0. Coach J.R. Samuel is a great athlete. Not many people can run by him, but we know what the Florida State commit D.L. Hardison is capable of. As he lines up in the slot, Coach, to the wide side, Eau Gallie with the trips. Latson and Williams in the backfield. Eau Gallie empties out to the left. Throws out to the left. That is Alvarez Baker. Nowhere to go. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 for the Commodores.
There's an example in Melbourne secondary. They show 2 high. Then they go down to 1 high, look, and then the safety backs off the alley into 2 high, and then great pursuit after the ball leaves the quarterback's hands. That's tough on a quarterback when you're seeing 2 high and it changes from 1 high to 2 high, pre-snap, post-snap.
Coach, you know what's crazy is I haven't seen much of Dawson Barbaro yet, the senior who I've coached, and I'm told by the Eau Gallie staff before the game, the fastest guy in this stadium. Throws it outside to Baker again. He's going to get it down. He's looking. Alvarez Baker dragged down from behind from Logan Barnhill. We're going to have a horse collar on Melbourne.
That's the matchups they're looking to get. Eau Gallie wants to get their guys one-on-one in open space, and that's what happens. He turned the corner on a guy, and he had to grab him by the horse collar.
So that will give Eau Gallie a first down on the Melbourne penalty and extends the drive for the Commodores. First and 10 Commodores on the 48-yard line. Handoff goes right side. Welch.
Edge.
Got a flag. This one's going to come back for a holding call.
Eau Gallie getting the edge, though. It's going to be a long night for Melbourne if they can't get contained.
Coach, this Eau Gallie O-line is big.
Sure is. And then fast guys running around them.
First and 20 for the Commodores. Stafford in motion. Handoff goes to number 7 up the gut. That'll be a gain of 5 for Williams. Williams has to check out. His helmet comes off. Welch goes in. Satellite 34, space code 0. Second and 15 for the Commodores. Stafford in motion. Handoff again goes to Welch. Great job by the Melbourne defense. Markel Ford Watson, the senior.
That's not where you want. That's not where I'm attacking Melbourne's defense. They're doing a great job getting outside and reaching the ends, but when they've run the ball up the middle, Melbourne has stuffed it.
Coach, I think at some point we're going to see Stafford on the jet sweep out of that formation if Eau Gallie comes back to it.
Get the ball in your guys' hands in space.
So here you go, Coach. Eau Gallie with an empty backfield. Robert Stafford in a slot matched up on a linebacker. As well as you have D.L. Harson matched up on the other side. Melbourne sends pressure. Logan Barnhill, Boudreaux Benford on a sack. That is a loss of 10 for the Commodores.
That's a great stand by Melbourne right there. Looked like Eau Gallie had some momentum going, and Melbourne answers.
It's not a fucking drop back. It's a fucking quick game. He just got to get the ball out. Get on the fucking line about blocking. How about that?
Well, we are in the press box, and there are some coaches coaching, and
oh, bad snap by the Commodores. Picked up by Nate Jennings. Touchdown, Melbourne.
wow,
Nate
what a turn
Jennings.
of events. Special teams, coach.
Third phase of the game.
How
Bad
quickly,
snap by the
how
Commodores.
quickly things turn.
4:37 till halftime.
What momentum Eau Gallie had is all but gone at this point. No, I know there's a lot of game left, but, you know, just the momentum swings of the game. Man, that was a – that happened quick.
Kick is up and good. 7-7. 4:37 left here. All right, back here as Melbourne set to kick off. We got a tie ball game 4 minutes before halftime, 7-7. Coach, that's the second week in a row Nate Jennings has scored a touchdown. Last week on a scoop and score, this week on a scoop and score off special teams.
Playmakers make plays. Some guys just have a nose for the ball, and they're always around the ball.
And Coach, and that ball bounced perfectly up for Nate Jennings. That is Tay Welch. He breaks another tackle. Pushed out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Coach Melbourne's struggling with the kickoff there.
Yeah, they couple opportunities to wrap up. Got to wrap.
Coach, I don't know what's been talked about all week, but I can promise you this: what I know about Eau Gallie and their athletes, I'm not kicking the ball deep. I will squib it. I will pooch it to the second line. I will give you the ball at the 40-yard line, but I am not putting the ball in the hands of those guys back there. I'm just not doing it.
I can't argue with that, Billy.
But that's why I'm up here, Coach Blue. That's why I'm up here. 1st and 10, Eau Gallie, handoff Welch left side. He's going to gain 4. Tay Welch on the carry. His 4th carry of the game. Coach, Eau Gallie rushing. Jay Latson has a 16 yards rushing so far. Williams with 11 yards rushing. And Tay Welch with 2 yards rushing so far this half. Handoff Welch again. Bujo Binford, Markel Ford Watson, and Nate Jennings get to him after a 3-yard gain. So 3rd down, 3.5,
Football
4.
is great, Billy. So you're an end and you're getting reached, right?
Yep.
So what do you do not to get reached? You start widening out a little bit to keep your outside arm free. And when the other team sees you do that, you run a stretch and the tailback turns it up inside the tackle guy. I mean, that's just great counter strategy.
Chess
I mean,
match.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. You're yelling at your end, don't get reached, don't get reached, keep your outside arm free. So he gets wide, and then they cut back up inside of him. It's just, football's just the greatest.
Stafford goes in motion, roll out right. Coach Panucci does a good job. Oh, this time he can't. Stafford gets away. Enough for a 1st down. Coach Panucci kept his outside backer there. This time, Coach Blue not allowing them to get the edge, but he had to make a decision. Am I staying with Stafford or am I going after the quarterback? And he sure did. So 5-yard pass completion for Stafford.
Yeah, you got to play quarterback. You got to make them throw it. It's a lot harder to throw and catch than it is to just let the quarterback turn up.
First and 10, Eau Gallie. Handoff goes left side to Williams. Brought down by Nate Jennings after a gain of 1.
They had a 3-on-2 up top. They got trips up top, and they had a 3-on-2. Eau Gallie. We'll see if they go to that. Throw a bubble up there.
Satellite 40, Space Code 0, Heritage 21, Bayside 0. Coach, I got to ask you a question. You've been a part of that rivalry. I've been a part of some big ones. We'll get back to it after this play. Handoff Williams. He's up the gut around the left side. Good enough for, we'll call it a 6-yard gain for Williams. I see the social media talk, and I get it. But when you have another coaching staff and another program calling them your little brothers and sisters and posting that on social media, I mean, that aggravates the hell out of me. Because,
Hey.
Coach, you can talk smack. I'll talk it with the best of them. But I feel like when a school social media site is disrespectful, that's what happens when you're down 21-0. Because I promise you I'd be jaw-jacking right now if I'm on the Heritage sideline.
Yeah.
And they probably are.
I mean, rivalries can get dirty. And, Michigan State, Mike Hart, who's Michigan's running backs coach now, when he was a senior and they beat Michigan State, he called Michigan State little brother. And, the Spartans sure didn't like that, and that fired the Spartans up, and they went on a tear for the next couple years. But There are certain things that you can do and say that fire up the other side, and some people would say across the line. Some people don't care.
Listen, Coach, I'm all for saying it, but let's do it right here on this green grass.
Right.
Let's stay off social media. But that's today's day and age. And I got to come back and ask you about your Michigan boy. What was he doing in that tunnel? We'll come back to that.
They had 60 minutes to put their hands on somebody that were after they lost.
Third and short for the Commodores. Baker in motion. Latson's going to keep it.
Pass to the big man.
Brandon Brown.
First down, Landon Brown.
They're sneaking guys out into the flat, and when the quarterback rolls out, they've got to play the quarterback, and they're getting a guy leaking out into the flat. That's been their last 2 first downs.
That was a 20-yard gain for Brandon Brown and the Commodores.
Looks like Coco 14, Rockledge 6.
Hey, if you guys are listening and you join Spaces on Thursday and Fridays, it'll be spicy again tonight. a lot of good talk last night. Handoff, Devontae Williams looking, nowhere to go. Gain of 1 for Williams.
They got trips up to the top of the field, and when the quarterback puts the ball in the running back's belly and meshes up, the outside linebacker commits to run, and they got a 3-on-2 up top. So I wouldn't be surprised if they mesh up with the running back and then throw a ball out on a bubble to the trips. It's there.
Second and goal from we got a timeout. Timeout Eau Gallie, 1:16 left until halftime. So, Coach, I didn't see it. Obviously, I saw it on Twitter. What was was he supposed to be in that tunnel? What was going on there?
Well, supposedly number one, the first one up, his dad's a truck driver, and his dad drove into town to see him and then had to leave right away on his route. So he ran up the tunnel to see his dad in the parking lot, and it wasn't a wise move because, the tunnel isn't very wide, and you got 80 Michigan State players going up there. So he's squirming through there, and he's happy, and he's bouncing, going to see his dad in the parking lot from what the story goes. And he bumped into a couple guys on his way up, and they didn't take too kindly to that.
Okay.
And then there was another kid that went up after him, and it got volatile, and unfortunately it got physical. And the thing that drives me nuts is it was a great win for Michigan, but everything I've been seeing all week is all about the tunnel. And I just want to hear about the game. I want to hear about the players on the field. And all week we had to hear about tunnel, and it's just sad.
Here I am continuing your week.
Yeah, you know how to push my buttons, Billy.
2nd and 8 for the Commodores. Latson takes a snap. Is going to keep it right side. Nowhere to go. He maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. See, and they mark him out of bounds. Oh, they're going to give him a gain of 1. And Brandon Brown checks back in. Lassen sends Stafford in motion. Devontae Williams up. Gain of 5. 4th and goal from the 2-yard line.
For 57 seconds left and counting.
Coach, this possession here is big. Last time Eau Gallie was down here, they did run the read.
A timeout.
Timeout Eau Gallie with 44 seconds left until halftime.
I'm totally fine with that. That's what the timeouts are for, and you can't take them in the locker room. Make sure you got the right play call on 4th and goal from the 1.
They have several special coffee concoctions that make anything hot or cold. Also, they are donating a percentage of their profits back to Eau Gallie High School. So when you visit them, you're helping our school. Also, Eau Gallie Air Force ROTC program is selling the world's finest chocolate candy bars. Help support their program tonight.
Who's Florida State got tomorrow?
Miami.
All right.
Looking to go 6-3, Blue. Get bowl eligible. That's unfortunately what we've come to around here right now. Get to a bowl game.
Hey, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
Try to keep our AD from bouncing. Can't remember which SEC school was after him, but Hawthorne 35, Astronaut 0. Here we go, 4th and goal from the 2-yard line for the Commodores. Big play on either side of the ball for either team here. Handoff, nowhere to go. Nate Jennings unblocked. Stops him. Coach, if I'm Melbourne, I'm getting out of this half. Great job
absolutely.
by Nate Jennings.
Well, yeah, I mean, Eau Gallie used up a couple of their timeouts, so they can't call timeout, but you got to go. You really want to be under center here and
whoa,
take a knee.
Caleb, did you hear what Coach Blue just said? He just made a
Billy
suggestion for Melbourne to get under center here. You need to write this date
Just
and time down.
Take a knee.
I don't know about taking a knee.
If they have it,
you know, there's a history of this, Blue.
Well,
Melbourne was beating Eau Gallie at Melbourne. This same spot, I believe it was 2004 or 5, and Melbourne almost took a knee and got a safety and lost the game.
well, if you're under center, you can take a knee, and if Eau Gallie has one timeout left, then you take another knee. But
I'm going under center and running quarterback sneak. I definitely wouldn't be doing what they're doing here. Almost an interception, and here we are, 32 seconds left, clock. I can promise you that Melbourne sideline is yelling, run the clock out. You don't do that before half, Blue. That's just not something you do. I'm sorry.
I don't even want to mesh. I don't want to be in gun. I don't want to mesh. I just want to. But you know that's why we're up here.
Yeah. Well. I know.
You fumble a mesh in the end zone with 32 seconds left in the half.
Yeah.
You know.
Blue. It's just there's no excuse for that coaching decision, right there.
Jeez, Billy.
Very critical today. I am. Run the ball and get out of half if you're Melbourne. Handoff Wesley Lambert. Gain of 8 down to the 10-yard line. Actually, I'm sorry, Blue. That'll be a gain of 6.
And that'll probably be the half.
And that was all you had to do the first play, Blue. You risk a turnover, and B, you're dropping gun. But, hey, we'll go to half here. 7-7, Eau Gallie and Melbourne tied up here on senior night for the Commodores. And I don't know. It looks like Eau Gallie's band will be playing, but not Melbourne. So, Blue, that's it. We're going to head to a quick break. Caleb will get you guys tuned in for the band.
When you pair delicious food with great people, everyone has a good time. At Slow and Low Barbecue, we always have something fun going on. From happy hour to kids' night, there's something for everyone. Come indulge in our tasty barbecue, like our mouth-watering ribs and fresh seafood, or sip on one of our specialty cocktails, or a cold beer from our full bar. At Slow and Low, we guarantee you'll have a memorable time and leave with a full belly. Slow and Low Barbecue, 2 great locations in Vieira and Cocoa Beach.
Halftime performance is the pride of Melbourne. The pride of Melbourne would like to congratulate and thank the Eau Gallie band and their seniors tonight on their senior night. Our performance tonight will just be a selection from our show entitled Hey Jude, the famous tune by the Beatles. Ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Mel High.
There he is.
He's like a consultant. You knew he wasn't going to not do music.
He's telling you the truth, Uncle Mike.
Please welcome the 2022 Eau Gallie High School Marching Commodores. Under the direction of Director of Band Benjamin Hart and Brandon Gentili, assisted by Johnson Middle School Band Director Carolyn Beck. Tonight, the Marching Commodores will be performing their 2022 marching band show entitled Shadows. This show features a variety of notable works, including Dance Macabre and Ave Maria. It will also feature the Charlie Daniels Band. Double went down to Georgia before closing with Night on Bald Mountain. Out of the darkness, we find the light, and out of the light, we find shadows.
I've never seen any lights there at all. I mean, I've never driven by him early outside or seen anybody in that car. Nothing.
Drum majors, Alexis Schneider, Madison Hurst, and Ben Captain Ariana Holmquist. Is the band ready?
But I mean, you can catch somebody coming home or,
Marching Commodores, you may now begin your performance.
They're waiting for the Come on. So I can only play
Well, welcome back here to the second half for the Eau Gallie Commodores versus the Melbourne Bulldogs. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen here, Blue. I was told Eau Gallie chose to kick off instead of defer to the second half. So that would give Melbourne another choice at receiving the opening kickoff again for the second time. So, Coach, some stats. Lambert had 10 carries for 27 yards in the first half. Hunter Turner was 3 for 7 with 48 yards passing and 3 carries and negative 6 yards rushing. Santiago, 2 receptions, 44 yards. Jalen Clark, 1 reception, 4 yards. Give me one moment to do the Commodores. Alvarez Baker had 1 run for 1 yard, 2 receptions for 3 yards. Hardison with a 5-yard run. Tay Welch with 5 yards rushing for the Commodores, and Williams with 23 yards rushing for the Commodores. Brandon Brown has a 20-yard reception. Stafford with 15 receiving yards. Not a lot of offense.
No. And Eau Gallie had great field position to start one drive. They only had to go, 30 yards on the turnover on the interception. Melbourne scored their touchdown off of a bad snap punt, picked up, scoop and score. But the kickoff situation, I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Eau Gallie won the toss and chose to kick instead of defer to the second half. Therefore, Melbourne got the decision again. Jalen Clark receives the kick to the 30-yard line. 1st and 10, Bulldogs. Got to educate the kids at the coin toss. You either want to receive or you want to defer. You never choose kick. (21-6) the Cocoa Tigers over Rockledge. Wow. Coach, Satellite 68, Space Coast 0. Coach Helton making a statement tonight.
Well, he's got his starting quarterback back, so they're totally different offensively. It makes you wonder what Satellite could have done this year had they had him all season.
Absolutely.
Because they were in some games. The sophomore did a great job, but you wonder what could have been.
1st and 10, Bulldogs on their own 30. Turner takes the snap. He's going to hand it to Lambert around the left side. Lambert gets outside. He's going to pick up 11 yards. Wes Lambert on the carry for the Bulldogs.
Is that the longest run for Melbourne so far?
That is the longest run from scrimmage for Melbourne. The second longest play from scrimmage other than the flea flicker to start the game.
As a coach, you like to see that. You like to be able to hit something right out of the half that you adjusted to at halftime and saw. Talk to your guys, come out, get a first down, first play.
Turner takes a snap, hands off. Oh, ball's on the ground. Recovered by Hunter Turner. Lucky break for the Bulldogs there.
Heads up play by Turner.
That's going to be a loss of 10.
You got a brief pause for a uniform infraction.
If Mr. Wright's here, you better be tucked in. Jerseys better be tucked in.
I think his hood came out of the back of his jersey.
Second and 20. Turner takes the snap.
Nice play by number 9 for Eau Gallie. Rico Johnson sheds the block on the pass rush.
Actually, Coach, I think that might have been Tamaje Hayes. Oh, well, you're right. There's 2 number 9s. I apologize. So that'll be a loss of 3.
This is quite a turnaround on this drive. They start off getting a first down on the very first play out of the half, and then the fumble, and then a sack. What was looking good for Melbourne has now turned south, and they have a 3rd and a mile.
Yeah. Coach, you get an 11-yard gain. I'm far pressed not to run the same play again to see if I can get the same result. Not here, obviously, but Turner takes the snap, throws it to Lambert short. Lambert makes one man miss, holds on to the rock. Lambert's going to get a gain of 9. I think there may be a flag on the field. Yep, I do see the flag, Caleb. See what they wave. Flag is on Eau Gallie. I didn't see the signal because the coach is blocking, but if it's a 15-yarder, we'll have a first down. 15-yard penalty. First down, Melbourne. Let's see if we can get the official signal. I would imagine, Blue, it either has to be a personal foul or a face mask.
Yep.
Which, in that case, would still be a personal foul, but. All right, I did not get a signal, but. First and 10, Melbourne on the Commodores' 48-yard line. Clay ball in motion. Lambert hands off left side. Gain of 4. Brought down by number 9 of the Commodores. Helmet comes off.
Melbourne sticking with the inside run, picking up yards.
Call me old school, Blue. You get 4 yards on a carry. 4 times 3 is 12.
That's right.
Move the sticks.
That's that Brevard County education coming.
Caleb, that's 3 yards and a cloud of dust wins football games. And we got a timeout, Eau Gallie. They almost got caught with 12 men on the field.
Yeah, you don't like to burn a timeout this early in the second half on a personnel issue. Wow, 3rd and 30 turns into a first down on a personal foul penalty. That's the swings in this game, Billy, so far. Back and forth.
Coach, I told you before, it's going to come up down to the penalties. It's going to come down to turnovers, which is both teams. Eau Gallie scored off a Melbourne turnover, drove the ball 30 yards. Melbourne scoops and scores off an Eau Gallie's turnover. We don't have those turnovers. We might be sitting at 0-0.
Yep, and penalties have continued drives.
For both squads, yep. Coach Noe tuning in. Melanie Player tuning in. Throws it a quick out. That's Jalen Clark. Coach, he tried to run without catching it. 3rd and 6 for the Melbourne. We got another flag on the play.
I think this is going to be holding on Melbourne. That ball hung a little bit. It didn't get out there as quick as I think they wanted it to. It's hard for the receivers to hold their blocks out there that long.
Holding on Melbourne.
Yeah. Melbourne on this drive, 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Coach, I fully expect a screen. I know Melbourne runs them. Again, we know what Turner's capable of vertically down the field. Melbourne has nothing in the middle of the field and nothing mid-level. That's where Melbourne's got to develop. Turner's going to roll out right. Turner's here. He's looking.
Ooh.
Tries to get to Santiago. That's a hard throw and catch. So it'll be 3rd and 17 for Melbourne.
Yeah, that was tight coverage. My eyes went to the routes, and I saw that receiver was covered. I couldn't believe he threw it, but he put it in the one place where it's either incomplete or caught. He's got that kind of accuracy.
Jason Hallett tuning in. Class of 92, all-space coast wide receiver. I know he's got film somewhere he likes to post.
That's got to be VHS, 92.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. It's definitely black and white because Turner's about to get sacked from backside. He's going to pitch it to Lambert. Oh, he's going to get called for a sack. That'll be a loss of 10 for Melbourne. Turner was not down by contact, but he was down by forward progression, and we all know the safety of the position at quarterback right now.
Yeah, that happened earlier in the game. He was wrapped up, standing up, and the white hat didn't blow the whistle, but he did on that time. I think he might have blown it after the ball left his hand, and that's why they were upset about the call.
Melbourne could have got a...
Another special teams play.
Number 24, Dylan Cooper on the block. He went up and over the up man. What we got, Coach?
It's like Hunter Turner's getting a talking to by the white hat. He's probably still chirping at him about that in the grass call. But that punt, it looked to me like it came off his foot and went straight, like a line drive. It didn't get up in the air.
Yeah, Eau Gallie came right up the gut. I mean,
so it wouldn't have mattered.
Coach, he came untouched straight up the gut. I mean, he was very close to being offsides. But great play by the Commodores, and Melbourne's got – you got to pick that up. And here we are again with a special teams mistake. Eau Gallie, great field position on their own 34-yard line. Completes to Robert Stafford around the right side. He's making guys miss.
Good rally over there, good pursuit. But again, they only have to go 34 yards. You know, you just giving them the short field like that, these turnovers.
Stafford with his third reception of the game. 4-yard gain. Heritage 28, Bayside 0. Panthers looking to put a running clock on their little brothers, as Bayside would say, right?
That's not a little brother score.
No. If it is, it's going the other way.
You might have to put the little brother to bed for a year.
Baker goes in motion. Handoff goes to number 7. He's got nowhere to go. He picks up 1. That's Williams on the carry.
I'm surprised Eau Gallie doesn't try to get back outside. They had success getting outside earlier in the game. Melbourne showed that they're tough up the middle against the run.
3rd and 5 for the Commodores. Third quarter, 6:42 left in the third. Tries to throw it outside of Stafford. Incomplete pass. Coach, he had Alvarez Baker on that orbit motion come back. Coach, I mean, both quarterbacks today so far are sitting at roughly about 5 completions. It's been tough goings here for both offenses.
Good defenses. It's hard to throw against Melbourne secondary.
And you mean same for Eau Gallie with a bunch of the studs that they have. Commodores send a man in motion. Gonna roll out left.
Just flood.
Woody Sweets here. Got a holding penalty. It won't. He will have the first down, but this one's gonna come back. Holding on the Commodores. Latson comes up limping. Commodores, coach, he's not putting any weight on that foot. And that'll bring up 4th and 15. Whoa, coach, I apologize. That was a spot foul, so I don't know why the chains are moving. Chains should be staying put. Come on, Cookie. They're laughing at me because I know all the referees' names around here, Blue.
You know everybody around here.
4th and 20 for the Commodores. They are set to punt. Now we got a officials timeout. Water break, 6:14 left in third. We are tied at 7. And we will trivia question time, Coach Blue. All right. Name the running back who rushed for 221 yards, 5 touchdowns, and scored a 74-yard pass reception as Melbourne defeated Eau Gallie 41-30 in 2018. Again, folks, trivia time. Name the Bulldog running back who rushed for 221 yards, 5 touchdowns, and scored a 74-yard pass reception as Melbourne defeated Eau Gallie 41-30 in 2018.
Antonio Wright?
Good job, Coach.
Well, you asked me. Was I not supposed to?
It's all right. I got an Eau Gallie one right here. I got an Eau Gallie.
I'm sorry. You said Coach Blue.
You're good.
Sorry.
I got you.
Are we letting the
yeah,
watch?
It doesn't matter. Elijah Burnett had it right away.
Okay.
Eau Gallie set the punt. No, you good. You good. We got flags everywhere, but I don't know why the whistle's blown over there. That's an inadvertent whistle, unless Jalen Clark gave a fair catch. Melbourne tried to disguise the punt. I don't know what we have, Coach.
Trying to pull the old Devin Hester.
Somebody's been watching Mike Norvell because Florida State ran it a couple weeks ago. All right, Coach, I got another trivia for you. Name the Commodore player who scored 3 touchdowns to lead Eau Gallie over Melbourne in 2016, 37-30. One more time, name the Commodore player who scored 3 touchdowns to lead Eau Gallie over Melbourne in 2016, 37-30. Is Miss Julie watching? I know she likes trivia.
Her trivia is limited to Heritage and Bayside.
Trying to sort this one out, Coach. We had a very quick first half here with
that was quick.
The first 2 teams. All right, so see what we have here.
Nobody's chiming in on the trivia.
Yeah, probably a hard question.
TJ Bogues tuning in. You want to talk about a guy with a smile and a great attitude? That's TJ Bogues.
All intents and purposes, it looks like it's against Melbourne because they're saying Melbourne waived a fair catch, but the gentleman on the other side of the field
Personal
allowed
foul Eau Gallie.
Personal foul Melbourne.
False start Melbourne.
I don't understand that one.
False start Melbourne on a punt return.
Yeah, I'm
A defensive false start.
I don't understand that one.
Maybe he was saying the false start was he signaled for a fair catch and ran with it. Is that a penalty in high school?
I don't know if it is, but that's definitely not a signal if it is.
I know, but
and Coach, I had to help a referee on Saturday in youth ball, and you know, all the respect in the world to these guys. It is a thick-skinned job. They get ridiculed, but the ball gets fumbled out of the back of the end zone from the offense. The offense fumbles it out of the back of the end zone, and they waved a touchback and then gave the other team the ball 80 yards away. I mean, I could not believe what transpired. It should have 100% been a safety, and one team kicking off from this. You know, the plus 20, the minus 20. Caleb, I believe you broadcasted that game Saturday. Yes. It was not it should have been a safety. Offense fumbled out of the back of the end zone. That is a safety in their own end zone. If they would have fumbled going into the opponent's end zone, it would have been a touchback. Yep, Kevin, we saw the illegal procedure. However, Melbourne was on punt return, and I'm not quite sure. And we just saw another 5-yard. I don't even know what's going on here. Melbourne has it 1st and 10 on the 5-yard line. Jim Wright is giving some kind of explanation. So now the penalty is on the fair catch. So, Blue, that I do see that. All right, so we have an unnecessary roughness on Melbourne, and then it looks like a fair catch.
An unnecessary roughness, maybe? They're like taking forever to discuss it, but they're back down to the 5-yard line because they're not giving them negative plays, so it's going to have a full first down.
So 1st and 10, Melbourne on their own 5. Hunter Turner with his heels on the goal line. Hands off to Wes Lambert around the left side.
Gets snatched up real quick.
He fights forward to the 8-yard line. Gain of 3 for Lambert.
3 yards for Lambert. 2nd and 7 for the Bulldogs.
He's a tough runner. He's strong, lower body. He's hard to bring down.
Foundation Academy 13, Holy Trinity 10. Second and 7 for the Bulldogs. We have 5:22 left in the third quarter. Turner takes it, throws. Santiago's wide open. Gain of 13 for Frankie Santiago.
That's the same combination that they ran on the interception.
It
they
is.
have that little hitch route by number 3.
And if you're Melbourne's O-line, you have got to get that young man's hands down, which is exactly what Cody Black did on that play. 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Bulldogs. Pitch out to the left side. Lambert gets to the edge. Gain of 5. Coach, I keep saying it. If you're a Bulldog fan, you want to run the football, give me 3 or 4, and we'll just methodically move the ball down the field. They are not having much success throwing this football. They have 2 passes over 10 yards. Turner keeps this one. Turner's got nowhere to go. Brought down at the line of scrimmage. Gain of 0 for the Bulldogs. 3rd and 5. Big third down here, Coach.
Rico's had a very good game on senior night. It's going to be about 3rd and 5 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, if I get, they had that trips look and they had that wide open hitch. I'm going to keep going to that until you adjust with the secondary.
Turner's rolling. Turner's looking.
Oh, man.
Nice
Oh, my
catch by
goodness.
Frankie Santiago
throw.
over the top. What a ball by Hunter
Yeah.
Turner. 1st down, Bulldogs.
Great catch. I mean, he's not open. I mean, he is totally covered. And there was one place where that ball could be, and that's right where he threw it. That was an amazing throw and a great catch.
That's a 12-yard reception by Frankie Santiago.
I thought it was a pick, Billy. When I looked down here and I saw the coverage, I thought it was a pick. I mean, he was covered. But, man, he put that ball in the one spot, and a great catch. That takes a lot of confidence to throw that ball.
Frankie Santiago, the leading Bulldog receiver tonight with 4 receptions. Handoff, Lambert nowhere to go. He's going to fight forward.
Look
Still
at him.
pushing the
Look at him.
pile.
Man, is he strong.
Lambert's going to gain 3. Coach, I was told by Coach Edwards, pound for pound, the transfer from Arizona is the strongest player on this Melbourne football team, with a squat well over 500.
That's amazing. But it pays off. All you young guys out there, if there's any youngins watching, you got to live in the weight room in the offseason. It transfers to the game. It'll make you a totally different player.
2nd and 7 for Melbourne.
That's okay. No, it's not a flag. They can trade.
Yep. So they did trade. So Melbourne's going to get a timeout.
As long as they don't snap it while they're both moving, they can both. You can have multiple people move.
Correct.
As long as they're set for 1 second and only one guy's moving on the snap.
All right, Caleb, you want to head to a quick commercial break?
When you pair delicious food with great people, everyone has a good time. At Slow and Low Barbecue, we always have something fun going on. From happy hour to kids' night, there's something for everyone. Come indulge in our tasty barbecue, like our mouth-watering ribs and fresh seafood, or sip on one of our specialty cocktails, or a cold beer from our full bar. At Slow and Low, we guarantee you'll have a memorable time and leave with a full belly. Slow and Low Barbecue, 2 great locations in Vieira and Cocoa Beach.
I'm Marcus May, and you're watching Brevard Sports Network.
My man.
Marcus May, Mr. Mayday, my guy, bringing us back. We appreciate you. Merritt Island 20, Vieira 14. Miss Beverly got to see her son play in the Superdome for the first time last week against the Raiders in the Saints victory. Handoff Lambert, right side. Gain of 1. Coach, he was carrying that ball on his shoulder pad. Yep, Miss Beverly made it out to Louisiana in the Superdome last week for the first time. She was excited to go. I talked to her a couple weeks ago when she was watching her grandson, SJ, at our flag Super Bowl. May family is a great family. They do great things for us at West Melbourne, and we appreciate Marcus, Miss Beverly, and the Shano and the whole May family. Old Headache was a ball player back in his day, Blue. Turner takes a snap, throws the hitch to Santiago, incomplete. 4th down and 5. That was his nickname growing up. Used to wear goggles in the backfield. Played tailback and quarterback for my dad back in the day.
Rex Specs.
Hey, that man was an athlete. So pass falls incomplete. 4th and 5. Long 5. Turner set a punt. Eau Gallie blocked the last one. And hey, Coach, the lone guy back receiving, or Robert Stafford. My advice, you want to kick that one right over there where the Commodores practice field is. And that's exactly
That's a great punt.
what Hunter Turner does, and that one's going to roll all the way down.
That's a great punt.
6-yard line. Great punt by Hunter Turner.
Hey, in a 7-7 game with 1:26 left in the 3rd quarter, that is a huge play to flip the field.
Eau Gallie's offense had to come back. Micah, I know you hear me. Hey, no filter tonight for these Bulldogs. They're going to get every bit of my opinion. They got to get playoffs ready. Coach Kinzel tuning in. Coach Hakeem Payne tuning in.
Coach Ed.
Probably going to ask us the heritage score.
Oh, I'm sure he knows the heritage score.
Coach Ed, what about them Gators?
Jeez.
How we feeling? How we feeling for Thanksgiving weekend?
We choose not to make any
Ruthless.
comments till the end of the season.
1st and 10 for Eau Gallie on their own 6-yard line. Latson still, quarterback throws it outside to D.L. Hardison, makes one man miss. Logan Barnhill right there. Gain of 2.
It just takes too long for that ball to get out there. I mean, that's the wide side of the field. They're split out wide, and that ball's got to get there now.
Second and 8 for the Commodores. Great job by Player of the Year candidate Logan Barnhill. On the Florida State commit, D.L. Hardison. the young sophomore. Coach, this Eau Gallie team is very, very young. I know they got Stafford and Baker that are seniors, but they got a very, very young football team. Handoff right side. That's Williams carrying the load.
Made a nice
That'll
gap
be a
up front.
gain of 10.
Made a nice gap for him up front.
I don't know if we can use nicknames on Brevard Sports Network, but that young man has a good nickname because he will carry you. I coached against him in youth league. If you know, you know. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Commodores. Baker goes in motion. Latson looking. He's going to hand off Williams. Nice cut. Another 11-yard gain for Williams. That's back-to-back first down carries for Williams. Coach, what he's doing, he's allowing that D in just to get upfield, makes a cut and gets right by it.
Yeah, great cut.
Derek Smith tuning in.
Coach Smitty.
End of the third quarter, Commodores 7, Bulldogs 7. Coach Smith, I hope you're doing well. I was on the phone with Davis today. He told me he was giving you a ring. Hope you guys had a great conversation. Fourth quarter, Coach, it's 7-7. I know I saw a bazillion score predictions on Brevard Sports Network today. I saw 42-0. I saw, the over was like 35 points on most people's bets. I don't know that there was many that had it this close. Might have been a few. Melbourne has a missed field goal early in the game. Melbourne's offense hasn't scored. They scored on a blocked punt. If Melbourne has a shot at winning this game, their offense has to get going. In Eau Gallie, again, you said earlier, stingy defenses both sides. Eau Gallie has been more successful of the less successful offenses.
Right. Well, Melbourne's been doing a good job running the ball in between the tackles, but they haven't been able to mix in the pass. So if they could get some balance and get some passing, find some rhythm in a passing game to have some balance, they can loosen up that Eau Gallie defense. But the receivers are just covered, and Eau Gallie's speed, they recover so well and so fast out of the receivers' breaks.
Stafford in motion. Stafford gets to the, that is D.L. Hardison gets to the outside. He'll pick up 5. That's D.L. Hardison on the run.
Little pop pass, getting outside with their speed. That's something that Eau Gallie did early in the game. They were able to get to the edge. Melbourne was losing contain. Their ends were getting reached. They were able to get outside. They got away from it.
So here we are, 2nd and 5, just under 30 seconds into the fourth quarter, 11:30 remaining, tied at 7. Baker goes in motion. Handoff goes to Williams, left side, great tackle. That is the freshman Ramir Davis on the tackle for the Bulldogs after a gain of 2. Melbourne's got 2 freshmen, Coach, on this defense that are starting. Number 8, Ramir Davis, outside linebacker, and number 6, J.R. Samuel. Merritt Island 21, Vieira 21. Hawks, Coach Shane Staples looking to get a win on senior night. Handoff again, nowhere to go. Oh, he breaks the tackle. Logan Barnhill, Woody Sweet had him wrapped up for a 3-yard loss. He fights forward for a 1-yard gain. 4th down and 1 for the Commodores. That is Tay Welch on the carry.
Surprised to see them inside on that 3rd down and long.
Coach Blue, are you I shouldn't say surprise is not the word I'm looking for. Is there any ounce of you right here that would go for this?
No, because Eau Gallie's defense has done a great job against Melbourne's offense, and I'm trusting my defense. I'm going to flip the field. I'm going to pin Melbourne. I'm going to make Melbourne go 80 yards because they haven't shown the ability to do that all night.
I see a fake coming right here, Coach. Nope. High snap. He able to get a hold of it. It touched him. It touched him up here, so it is going to be Melbourne's ball on the 26-yard line. Great job by the Eau Gallie punter. That is number 33, Casey Rouse, controlling the high snap and getting the punt off for the Commodores.
And that's frustrating as a coach when you don't send a rush on the punt and the snap is bobble, the snap is high or something like that. When you're on the verge of calling that punt block and you don't, and then there's a bad snap, you're like, oh, man.
Coach, there's one special teams I trust, one special teams coach I trust. I'm all over the place to call a punt block. And you already know who it is because he is dialed in when it comes to doing that. And it seemed like every time he called it, it hit. And when it hit big. You know who the legend is.
Last name starts with an O?
Daniel Oswald.
That's him.
Turner fakes it. Turner keeps it up the gut, breaks a tackle. He'll fight forward for a 3-yard gain. Hunter Turner on the carry. Micah Pombay is 7-7 last I heard. Sebastian River. Pombay, another team that has struggled offensively down the stretch. I would love to see that Coco Rockledge score. I'm sure that was a great halftime speech by both sides. Coco was up 21-6. Turner takes a snap, tries to throw the hitch route to Santiago again. Blue, you've called it. They keep coming back to it, but it's just
It's not clicking. It's just not clicking. There was something off about his footwork there. Turner got the ball, turned to set his feet. It seemed like it took him a long time to get his hips around and get his feet set. As a DB, as soon as you see his front hand come off the ball, that's when you stick your foot in the ground and jump the route. That was just very slow developing and getting that ball out.
But for me, Blue, Melbourne runs the ball 85% of the time on first down. They get 3 yards. Why would you not take another shot at the run the second down? Now you're looking at 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 8, and Turner's looking to throw the ball. Still looking.
Nice
Throws it to Santiago. Great play.
Nice touch.
Frankie Santiago from the 29 to the Commodore 40.
You know what that was, Billy?
I do not, Coach.
That was mesh.
Oh,
you had 2 shallow crossers coming across the field, and the defense can't hold it that long. You string it out. Turner keeps the play alive, gets outside the pocket. The defender has to play quarterback, and then a great touch pass. That's one of the hardest throws for a quarterback is to get it over a defender 15-plus yards like that.
31-yard play. Lambert around the right side. Lambert, he's still on his feet. Lambert's still going.
500-pound squat, Coach.
Coach, you ain't going to take him down easy. That's a 14-yard gain for Lambert and another Bulldog first down. Coach, not many people know this. We talked about how much he can squat. The kid's a gamer. He's a state champion from the state of Arizona before he transferred to Melbourne. 1st and 10, Melbourne right back down. Coach Eau Gallie's got hands on hips. Not a good sign for the defense.
Sometimes it just takes one big play to spark your offense.
Handoff, Jalen Clark left side. He's going to fall forward to the 25. Gain of 4. We'll go with 3. Coach Jalen Clark with a gain of 3. 2nd and 7. Coach Melbourne trying to mash the gas here and keep it going. Eau Gallie looks tired. Coco 28, Rockledge 6, and that is not what people expected in that barbecue bowl.
Not at all. I'm surprised by the Merritt Allen Vieira score also.
I'm not. I mean, I am as well. I'm not shocked that Shane Staples got those kids together because they've played well, but I'm very surprised at the score. Handoff, Lambert left side. Coach, that's a grown man. He might be 5'2". I'm jokingly don't know his size, but that is a strong man. He'll pick up 2 yards for the Bulldogs. Big third down here for Melbourne, Coach. I would have to.
Melbourne guy on his knee.
Jalen Clark, Coach. I would have to imagine this is 2-down territory for Melbourne after missing the field goal, with the wind in their face.
Yeah. Yep.
7:40 left here in the fourth quarter. Coach, the little brothers at Heritage put a running clock on the Bayside Bears.
Wow. Definitely gonna have to table the little brother label until next year.
I've never been a part of that rivalry, but hey, Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Nick Farinella of Caldwell Banker. Nick's market specialty is corporate relocation and waterfront and a waterfront specialist. He works from North Merritt Island to the South Beaches. Call Nick today at 321-543-1685. Coach, Eau Gallie has won this game 5 times since 2000. Turner takes a snap, throws it out to Wes Lambert. Double pass. He's got it, man. We're going to have pass interference on the Commodores. What a call. That'll be a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the Eau Gallie DB had to grab him, realized he was beat.
We must be getting some of that barbecue bowl viewers, Caleb, because it's a blowout over there. We're picking up here. We welcome you to Eau Gallie High School for the Melbourne Bulldogs and Eau Gallie Commodore broadcast. 7-7. Can't wait to talk to my guy, Coach T. Roan, tonight. I can tell you Coach Seafat from Eau Gallie High School is going to give it to him. He's going to give him the business tonight if Rockledge doesn't get come back. 1st and 10, Melbourne from the 12-yard line.
7 minutes and 12 seconds left here in the fourth quarter.
Turner shovel pass, Channing Clayball down to the 6-yard line. That's a gain of 5.
We got the kitchen sink, Coach.
Coach, they ran that a lot last week, surprisingly, against Vieira, just because of how well Vieira flowed. Terrence Jones, man, we good, Coach Jones, we good. They got to take this mic from me, I think. Coach Tyrone don't want me to have the mic no more. 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs on the Commodore 7-yard line. Santiago in motion. Him and be a loss of 1. Him and Wesley Lambert run into each other.
Titans up in the red zone, Coach. Against that speed on that defense, you got to hit it quick. Definitely can't run into your teammate and break anything.
Spaces will be good tonight, Coach Jones. Nah, Coach T. No. Jump ball to corner end zone. Touchdown, Melbourne. Ryan Cabrera over the Miami commit, and Melbourne just got a 15-yard penalty. Ryan Cabrera over Robert Stafford. He's going to get a penalty, Caleb. You can't tap the man head top. That's not allowed. That'll be assessed on the kickoff.
That was a great fade ball, and the DB never turned around, never got his head around to find the ball. Great catch.
Micah, great trivia question. Scott Grish, that is very true. Touchdown, Melbourne. That is Ryan Cabrera on the 9-yard reception. Melbourne's offense's first touchdown of the night.
Who was the corner on that?
Robert Stafford.
So that's confidence. You're a quarterback. You're going to throw. That's who you're going to throw at on a fade route. That's confidence.
That's a lot of confidence because Robert Stafford's the best football player on this field.
Yeah, that takes a lot of confidence.
So Eau Gallie going to take it on the extra point instead of the kickoff.
In a game this close, I actually like that.
So Melbourne is going to kick a 35-yard extra point with 5:35 left. Big call by Coach Sands, Caleb. I agree. That's a smart decision. Snap is good. Turner's going to roll. Turner throws it up. Clay ball incomplete. I don't know if I agree with that if you're Melbourne. I do not know if I agree with that if you're Melbourne. So 13-7, Melbourne over Eau Gallie. Coach, I don't like it. I know you were put in a hard spot to kick the extra point. I've watched that young man kick. He may have missed a field goal, but he was dead square in the middle of the field. A one-man route.
Well, it keeps things interesting, if anything else.
Officials timeout, water break. 5:35 left here in the fourth quarter. Melbourne 13, Satellite 7.
Got any more trivia over there?
I got lots of trivia, Coach. Lots of trivia. Do we want Eau Gallie trivia? Do we want Melbourne trivia?
I think Eau Gallie was the last.
Yep,
So
Darian Garland was the last one. I don't believe anybody got that one correct. So in 2010, head coach Todd Wilson's Bulldogs beat the Commodores 42-14, named the Melbourne running back who rushed for 110 yards and 3 touchdowns to lead the Bulldog offense. 2010, Todd Wilson, Melbourne beats Eau Gallie 42-14, named the Melbourne running back who had 3 touchdowns and 110 yards rushing. I know one guy's going to get it. There is a squib kick. Recovered by Eau Gallie. Nice cut. Makes a man miss. That's D.L. Hardison. First and 10 Eau Gallie on their own 36-yard line. Nope, Micah Cortez Ray was not on the team in 2010.
That was earlier, right?
Yeah, no, Cortez was when I played. No, Mr. Lakes. TJ is gone and graduated in 07. So 2010 running back. 2010. Mike Hamilton graduated in 2004.
Was it the baseball player?
No, that's
No.
I mean, Micah should know this answer because it's his teammate. He'll figure it out at some point. Eric Clark graduated in 09 with me. Mr. Gillett, he will not be the answer. Latson rolling. He's going to throw it short.
Nice catch.
Ball's out. Ball is out.
They're going to say it was a catch?
I'm not quite sure. I don't even know who recovered it.
If that was a catch, that's
Melbourne
ball.
football. They're going to call it a fumble on the Commodores.
Look, he brought it in with one hand to his body, and it looked like he took a couple steps, and then the ball came out.
I'm not sure who the reception was.
It was a great catch. He had to reach out with one hand to bring it in.
He did. You are correct, Micah Hughes. Brandon Shaw was the running back.
I thought it might have been Carson Jack. I said baseball player. But.
Yep. Carson played quarterback and receiver. Hey, he did play running back, but Carson was a year later, I believe. I believe that year Carson played wide receiver.
He could move a little bit, that guy.
Oh, Carson got a little wiggle to him. That's my boy. Melbourne 1st and 10 on the Commodore 30-yard line. Mr. Brandon Shaw was the answer. Number 2 for Melbourne.
5:17 left in the game.
Kivaris Cohen, he's in the game, runs the ball to the right. Kivaris Cohen picks up 1. Merritt Island 28, Vieira 21. Mr. Saunders tuning in. He must not want to watch the Raiders game right now. 2nd and 9 for Melbourne. Handoff Lambert, right side. He's going to be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Melbourne just trying to run the clock here.
I believe Eau Gallie has 2 timeouts left.
Is Terrence Jones still listening to the broadcast? Gallie should have 2 timeouts. There's 4:15 and rolling. Mr. Ron Kruger, there you go. 3rd and 9. Turner drops back. Turner's looking. He's got to throw it. Okay, that was dangerous. Incomplete pass. 4th and 9. That stops the clock with 3:50 left. Hey, Drew, T.O. ain't going to comment, man. He just going to watch. He got to go back to the other game. Fourth and 9 for the Bulldogs. Coach, do you see a punt? Okay, not sure what they got going on. They got to attempt a field goal here, which makes 0 sense for going for 2 after the last touchdown, Blue.
Is that 40? What is that, 46?
It's 10 yards further than it was before. I know that much. Okay, well, that might be why they didn't kick it, because now we got to delay a game, and we should see a punt by Melbourne. No, Drew, don't tell me that. I don't even know the score. Caleb, new Super 7 coming out next week after these rivalry matchups.
The
final regular season Super 7.
questions were answered.
4th and long for the Bulldogs.
Nah, T.O. don't want to comment, Drew. T.O. disappeared on me, man. I'm trying to see who T.O. and Terrence picked. Turner with a high pooch kick to the left side. They better cover it or Robert Stafford's going to get there. Eau Gallie ball on the 19-yard line. 3:41 left. Coach, it's a 6-point ball game. Eau Gallie has moved the ball here and there on Melbourne, but not through the air.
Right. So you would think they've got plenty of time. They've got 2 timeouts. They need to stick with what's working for them tonight. Not be too, no desperation.
I am really surprised. It is Coco 28, Rockledge 12 late in the 3rd quarter. I am very surprised we haven't seen them go over top with Robert Stafford or D.L. Harrison. Robert matched up against the freshman here. Handoff left side. That's Tay Welch. He almost busted out after a 9-yard gain.
They did take 1 deep shot early.
They did? Okay. They're going to call that a 10-yard gain in Eau Gallie first down. 3:30 and rolling.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, if you're Eau Gallie, coach, you got to settle in and just play football.
And you got 2 timeouts.
Quarterback's going to roll left. He's going to get down after a 6-yard gain.
5 yards for Letson.
2nd and 4 for the Commodores. 2:52 and rolling. Coach Eau Gallie, I think, is starting to take too much time. Their O-line seems really confused.
Yeah,
here.
there's been communication issues.
Alvarez Baker goes in motion. Latson's going to take a deep shot. Out of bounds. Great coverage by the freshman J.R. Samuels. 3rd and 4 for the Commodores. 2:23 left.
If he throws it up the sideline and leads him, he had him.
I think he did, Coach.
I think the safety took a bad angle, and I think he gets behind the secondary there. But I don't, the passing game is their strength is in their run game. Their jet motion, their orbit motion, their
3rd and 4 for the Commodores. 2:23 left in the ball game. They trail by 6. And they're going to get Melbourne on an offsides. That's a first down, Eau Gallie. Markel Ford Watson jumps off sides.
First down, Commodores. 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
Defensive penalty stops the clock. And it was an incomplete pass anyways. What am I talking about? Heritage 35-0 over Bayside is the final. Mark Ainsley's team wins 4 out of their last 5. Latson drops back. He's got a man underneath. He's going to take a deep shot. J.R. Samuels in the coverage.
He had him.
2nd and 10. He did have him.
He had him. It was late.
You got to keep running, Caleb. You're right. 2nd down and 10. 2:16 left in the 4th quarter. The penalty was a encroachment on the defense. Mr. Hopping, defense line jumped off sides. It was 3rd down and 4. 5-yard penalty gave the Commodores a first down. 2nd and 10 for Eau Gallie, coach. And here we are. They're showing they're going to take the deep shot.
Can't take it.
Quarterback scrambling. He's going to fall forward. 8-yard gain by Latson. A quarterback making plays. Pump fakes a defender. Well, I don't know why the sticks are moving. It's not a first down. .206, 3rd down and 3 for the Commodores. It gotta be under control as a coach if you want your kids to be under control, coach. 3rd and 3 for Eau Gallie. Baker goes in motion. We're going to see a rollout right. He steps up, throws it underneath. Incomplete pass. 4th and 3 for Eau Gallie.
4th and 3 for EG. 2 minutes left in the ball game.
Exactly 2 minutes left in the game.
Could he run for the first down there?
I think he could have, Coach. There was nobody there. But I will say this. I don't know that he would have gotten to it because Logan Barnhill was wide but was trailing. But he definitely had green grass in front of him. And knowing his speed, he probably would have gotten there. Palm Bay 21-14 over Sebastian is a final. Tough one for the Pirates, but I believe they finished 7-3.
The game on the line here for Eau Gallie.
They still have 2 timeouts, do the Commodores. Delay a game on Eau Gallie. That's a big penalty.
You got 2 timeouts.
4th and 8 for the Commodores. Timeout, and they're going to take a timeout. So Eau Gallie has a delay of game penalty and now will waste one of their last 2 timeouts. So it's going to be 4th down and 8 for the Commodores.
Well, after the penalty, when it's 4th and 8, you got to get, I mean, you have to get the first down. So
You do.
You might as well use one of the timeouts at this point because you make sure you're on the same page. You got your personnel. You point out a couple key things to a couple guys. You know, if they're going to roll out, you want to just tell your tackle or someone, hey, you got to reach that end. You know, little things like that that you can do in a timeout on a key play like this. Here we go, Billy.
Merritt Island 28, Vieira 21. 4th and 8 for the Commodores. Trips to the wide side. It's a big down here. Quarterback's going to roll out right. He's going to pick up field. He's going to keep it. He's going to be stopped. Short. Turnover on downs. Melbourne ball. 1:52 left in the ball game. Eau Gallie's got 1 timeout. Oh, man, lost my pencil, Coach.
Ball security, ball security, ball security.
Handoff Lambert right side. Lambert's going to pick up
about 4
yards. Eau Gallie uses their final timeout of the game. .146 left. If you're Melbourne, Coach,
hold on to the football.
You got to hold on to the football. There's a 25-second play clock, but it resets from the whistle of the last play is 40 seconds to the next snap. You have to use 39.5 of that. Handoff Lambert around the right side. Coach, he's got some room. Lambert down the sideline. First down, inbounds. That should do it for the Bulldogs. Wesley Lambert on a 15-yard run.
It should be victory formation. I tell you what, Lambert, how many carries you got over there, Coach?
You want me to do math?
That man ran hard all night.
22 carries so far tonight.
22 carries. That's a load against this defense.
And Melbourne is going to take a knee, 118 and rolling. Watch the back judge. He puts that hand up. You got 10 seconds, and he's going to start counting down when he gets 5. 28-12, Coco over Rockledge. Rockledge just got an interception with 7 minutes left. Look at my mom dropping in the scores. Melbourne takes a knee. Depending on the start of the play clock here, they will have to do one more. And the Bulldogs win their second in a row versus the Commodores and get their 40th series victory. 38th series victory. And will now lead 38-19. Playoffs begin next week. Melbourne will, one more snap, 25 seconds left. Melbourne advances to 8-2. Eau Gallie is 7-3. I am not sure why we have a stop clock or. What we got going on here? Mr. Williams, I won't disagree with your statement. I can't portray that, but I won't disagree. Not sure what happened. Clock is now running. Ball game over. Melbourne wins 13-7 over the Eau Gallie Commodores. Coach Blue, your final thoughts?
A lot of mistakes in the game. Melbourne was able to overcome their mistakes. I thought Lambert ran the ball hard. 22 carries, you said. Real hard-fought night for Lambert. A lot of tough yards. Melbourne defense played really well. Eau Gallie's defense played really well. Close game down to the end, rivalry game. Great game to watch. Best of luck to both teams in the playoffs.
I appreciate you, Coach. Thank you for tuning in to the Brevard Sports Network Slow and Low Barbecue post-game show. Brevard Sports Network, Alan Slaughter-Zinski. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Have a great night. The final from Eau Gallie High School, Melbourne 13, Eau Gallie 7.